No matter how far back you go in history, humans have always wanted to figure out what's coming our way, and there's never been a shortage of people who claim to be able to tell us. From the rise of spiritualism in the 1800s to TV mediums and psychics filling our living rooms across the world in the 90s to early 2000s, our fascination with the strange and clairvoyant has remained surprisingly consistent. It genuinely makes you wonder whether these people are actually gifted, or do their abilities reveal something even more interesting about the way our own minds work. With that said, today we'll be uncovering the strange world of TV psychics, faith healers, and mediums. Okay, so psychics and mediums have been here for a while. The first recording of fortune tellers dates back to ancient times. The most widely known system of early civilization fortune telling was astrology. You know, the system that suggests the position and movement of celestial bodies influence human affairs, personalities, and earthly events. Or simply put, the reason your ex broke up with you on a random Tuesday. Not to be confused with astronomy, the natural science that studies celestial objects, space, and the physical and chemical process governing the universe. Anyway, some fortune tellers were said to be able to make predictions without the use of these elaborate systems through extrasensory perception, ESP for short, to identify information hidden from normal senses. Back in the Jesus days, these guys were known as seers or prophets. Seers formed a vital role in early civilizations, often serving as advisors, priests, and judges. Take Samuel. He was tasked with finding Saul's father's lost donkeys. I wonder if he ever found them. I guess he did. Fast forward a couple of Bible scriptures and we got Michael D. Nostradamus, basically one of the most famous OGs of the psychic shit. Nostradamus was a French apothecary. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but basically from my understanding, he was a drug dealer to surgeons. But our boy Michael had his hands in quite a few pies. He wrote a collection of prophecies that have since become world famous. You know, the one that people claim predicted 9/11 446 years before it happened? His written works are known to have contained at least 6,338 prophecies that mostly dealt with disasters such as plagues, earthquakes, wars, floods, invasions, murders, and drought. Personally, in my opinion, this dude seemed pretty pessimistic. But here's the thing, right? Nostradamus was a controversial figure. Popular press of the time credited him with predicting many major world events, but damn near all his predictions were incorrect. Most academic scholars maintain the association made between world events and Nostradamus' prophecies are largely the result of misinterpretation or translation, and that wasn't by mistake. Bro intentionally made all his writings extremely vague and up for interpretation, and unfortunately, that's a trend that will continue for the rest of this video. Let's take a quick detour and talk about the BARNUM effect real quick. Don't click off the video, I swear it connects to everything we're talking about. Trust me, bro. Trust me. Okay, so the BARNUM effect is a psychological phenomenon where people believe vague generic personality descriptions are highly accurate and tailored specifically to them. It explains why individuals relate strongly to horoscopes, fortune telling, and generalized online personality quizzes, right? And there are 3 reasons why this tends to happen: confirmation bias, the desire for meaning, and vague phrasing. A classic experiment of this in action was conducted by psychologist Bertram R. Foyer in 1948. He basically gave all his students a personality test, but instead of grading them, he gave everyone the same vague generic paragraph. Despite the results being identical, students rated the accuracy of the personalized analysis an average of 4 out of 5. Anyway, in 1948, 2 sisters from New York named Margaret and Kate Fox claimed they could communicate with spirits of murdered men through mysterious knocking sounds inside their home. The story spread rapidly, and before long, people across America were attempting to contact the dead themselves. What began as a small local phenomenon quickly grew into something we now know as spiritualism. Suddenly, mediums weren't just predicting futures anymore. They were holding seances, claiming to receive messages from loved ones, promising that death wasn't really the end. The movement exploded throughout Europe and North America. Public seances became fashionable and professional mediums began charging audiences to witness what they claimed was life after death. Looking back, it might seem surprising that so many people accept these claims, but history has a habit of creating the perfect conditions for ideas like these to spread. For countless people, spiritualism offers something science simply couldn't. Whether these mediums were genuine or not almost became secondary. People wanted to believe. And when enough people want the same thing, someone will always build a business around it. And by the early 20th century, mediums were writing books, selling tickets to public demonstrations, and attracting audiences across America and Europe. The belief had become an industry. All it needed now was a bigger stage. During the 80s and late 1990s, television was starting to change. Cable networks were expanding, daytime television was booming, and producers were constantly looking for inexpensive programs that could keep audiences watching. Talk shows had already proven that people loved real stories and emotional moments. Reality TV was beginning to find its footing, and audiences just didn't want to watch actors anymore. Audiences wanted to watch real people, and psychics fit perfectly into that formula. Every reading carried the possibility that something impossible might happen. Every episode promised that an ordinary person could receive a message from somebody they thought they had lost forever. Or maybe just maybe, for that moment, they'd convince millions of people at home watching that they had witnessed something beyond explanation. And that right there, my friends, makes for some compelling television, whether you believe in psychics or not. Before long, networks realized that they had something audiences couldn't stop watching. Psychics began appearing everywhere. Morning shows invited them for special segments, daytime talk shows booked them to read audience members, news programs covered their predictions, even Disney made a show about them. My point being, everyone was riding this wave, and television has always carried an unusual sense of authority. People generally expect what they see on TV to be true or at least verified. I mean, if someone is given their own TV series, it's easy to assume that they must have some level of credibility. After all, why would a major network build an entire show around somebody who couldn't actually do what they claim to do? Right? Right?
But apparently her psychic abilities didn't see this coming.
Lori, I'm going to show you something.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Does this girl look familiar to you?
Yeah, she does. I worked this case.
This is a girl who you said was beaten and killed.
Okay.
This little girl is me. And you told somebody that she's dead.
Wait a minute. You didn't disappear?
I'm right here.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
The assumption was part of the performance, and the audience at home became the participants. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, TV psychics weren't just a niche curiosity anymore. They were mainstream entertainment. Some of the biggest names were drawing in millions of views every week. For many people, they weren't just simply TV personalities. They were proof that the impossible might actually be possible. And that raises an interesting question. If those readings look so convincing on TV, what were people actually watching?
If you've never had a reading from a real psychic, try us right now for free.
Let's look at some examples real quick. If you grew up in the late 90s or early 2000s, you probably know or have seen some parody of Miss Cleo. Through a series of late night infomercials, she claimed to offer free personalized psychic readings over the phone, promising answers about relationships, careers, and the future itself. Her larger-than-life personality, distinctive Jamaican accent or not so Jamaican accent,
And he's also the one that had another girlfriend while he was sleeping with you.
and memorable catchphrases made her instantly recognizable, and before long the advertisements were almost everywhere and impossible to avoid. In 2002, Miss Cleo found herself in hot water. The Federal Trade Commission filed a complaint against Cleo and the Psychic Readings Network, alleging that they made over $1 billion employing a host of shady tricks, including misrepresenting the nature of the free readings. However, she managed to walk away scot-free. It wasn't really her fault, it was the network's fault, so, fuck them, I guess. They also kind of mistreated her, but that's neither here nor there. John Edwards, Sylvia Browne, and Teresa Caputo were a couple of other notable names of the time that also faced their own backlash. Let's see what we have here. John was accused of being a fraud and a grief vampire. Critics alleged that he used cold and hard reading techniques, such as fishing for clues, making vague, sweeping statements, and using information gathered by producers prior to his show to manipulate grieving audience members. Sylvia just made a bunch of deeply incorrect and harmful, sometimes fabricated predictions about missing persons and murder cases on national TV. Her most infamous incident involved Cleveland kidnapping victim Amanda Berry in 2004, appearing on the Montel Williams show. Sylvia told Berry's mother that the teen was dead, but Berry was found in 2013 after escaping nearly a decade of captivity. Her mother passed away in 2005, believing what Sylvia had told her. And Teresa Caputo was just better at her job, man. I don't know what the fuck to say.
So I'm going to start with the husband because he's the one that stepped forward first. So who lost the husband?
For a lot of people, TV psychics were just entertainment, but for others, the experience was far more personal. Many of the people sitting across from these psychics weren't just looking for entertainment, they were looking for answers. They had lost parents, children, husbands, wives, and close friends. Some had spent years searching for closure that never came. Grief has a way of changing what we are willing to believe. When somebody offers you a possibility for one last conversation or a last goodbye, it's easy to understand why these people listen. This video isn't just about whether psychics are lying or whether the people that go and visit them are naive. It's about something much more human. I feel like it's fair to say that humans don't like uncertainty. We like patterns, we like explanations, and most of all, we fucking love answers. Our brains are incredibly good at finding meaning, even if the meaning isn't really there. We remember the predictions that never came true and quietly ignore the ones that didn't. And it's not because we are irrational. I mean, shit, we're just built like that, man. These same instincts help us recognize faces, learn languages, and make sense of the world around us. Psychics didn't invent these instincts. They simply learned how to use them in their favor. And television television amplified the shit out of it. The results was an experience that felt real enough for millions of people to tune in and believe. People have always searched for certainty. Spiritualism gave us a language to talk about life after death. Television gave us those ideas on a stage unlike anything else before, and our own minds did the rest. Whether you believe in psychics possess genuine abilities or not, one thing is impossible to deny. Their success tells us far more about ourselves than it does about them, because beneath every prediction, every seance, and every televised reading is the same question humanity has been asking for thousands of years. Is there someone out there who really has the answers?
All my fellas,